Hi, my name's Denise McCabe and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in Australia on the New South Wales Central Coast, and this is my Makeup Monday for this week. I'm back to my fun fold cards and this is a fold that I saw Sue Campfield in America do, and I had to give it a go. So it's called a double-decker pop-up card. So looks like that. You'll probably be able to see it better when it's down on my table, but yeah, so that's the one I'm going to do, the fold I'm going to do, and I'm using some online products and some products from the catalogue. So I'm using the So Very Merry stamp set. That's an online stamp set, but the rest of the products I'm pretty sure are all in the annual catalogue. So different colour tones to this one, but the same fold. So let's switch down to my craft desk and we can get started. There we go. Yay! Okay, so if anyone wants to place an order with me, this is my host code for July. So we've got another week and a bit of July. So that's the code you can use through my blog, stampingpassion.blogspot.com. Any order that you place, you can go to my BOGO sale that's on my blog. There's tabs across the top of my blog, and one says BOGO sale. So any order you place with me this month, you can go to my BOGO sale, buy one get one, and for the value of your order you can choose some of my retired products for free to the same value of your order. So that's my little promotion for this month, and that's because I'm celebrating my 15 years with Stampin' Up. So okay, so this is the stamp set we're going to use, So Very Merry. It's one of the online exclusives, and it's not in any catalogue, so it's only available in the online store, and if you search in the online exclusives you will find it. It's photopolymer, well, that's a little bonus. Photopolymer, and photopolymer stamps do stain, particularly with red or purplish coloured ink, but it doesn't affect the stamping of the stamp. I'm loving photopolymer stamps because you can see through them and you can see getting your sentiments straight. I'm really enjoying photopolymer stamps. This stamp set is $42 in the online store. So I've done a few things with it. Let me see if I've got them handy. Let me see. I guess here's one, a stained glass one. The other ones I've done are downstairs on my display board because I had a class yesterday. So that's one. I used vellum. I heat embossed black embossing powder and coloured the back of it with my Stampin' Right markers. This is another one, the same, the stained glass technique. And this is another one. So there's some of the cards I've made with this stamp set. And as you can see in my little stamp case, I've got a little one of the gingerbread house ready to go. So I'm not going to use this, but I'm going to stamp with the gingerbread house for my card. The other things we're going to use, these ones are from the annual catalogue, the scalloped contour dies. This card I used the deckled rectangle dies, but I thought I'd try the scalloped contour dies for this card. And I'm going to use the new exposed brick 3D embossing folder for my card that I'm making with you. This one I used the Merry Melody embossing folder. I thought that went well with the bird because like the bird can sing, so it needed the musical notes. I think that's, oh, I know what else. In here we're going to also use some of the number 2, the specialty paper, which is the white center 12 by 12 specialty paper. This is what I've used here, and I've sanded it off. You can get to the white core of the paper. Different color we're going to use today, and I'm going to use some of the Delightfully Eclectic Designer Series paper. You can see I used it on this card. It's this one here. This one I'm going to use the one here. You can't really see it very well in the catalogue. So that's what we're using today. So let me put those down. I've already cut things out ready. So your card base is just a standard A5 card base. Let me just get those things off. So it's just your standard A5 card base. I'm hoping I've got no noise outside. My hubby's been trimming trees so that my clothesline gets more sun, being that it's winter here in Australia. Things aren't drying on my clothesline. So he's been trimming trees, so I've had to wait until he finished doing that. But the young guy next door has started doing stuff. I don't know what he's doing, but anyway. Okay, so this is just your standard A5 card base, scored at 10.5 centimeters, and then scored at 5.25, roughly in half again. So I'm just going to fold that back. So you do a mountain and a valley fold. That will form your card base. And you end up with like a Z. Okay. Then you've got a piece of the Delightfully Eclectic Designer Series paper. I'm using the Night of Navy and Misty Moonlight side. That's 10 centimeters by 14.3. And then I've got two pieces of the white core specialty paper, and they're 4.7 centimeters by 14.3, and we're going to run them through that brick embossing folder. And then I've cut out 3 scalloped contour dies, 2 of the second largest, so 1 in white and 1 in Night of Navy, and 1 in the third largest in white. So we can probably put those aside. Okay, and then this is your mechanism for the pop-up bit. Can you see it in there? So this is the mechanism, and in centimeters it's 7.6 centimeters by 5.7, or in inches, but I'm doing it in centimeters because that's what we use in Australia. In inches it's 3 inches by 2 1/4, but I'm going to stick to centimeters because that's what we know and love. If you want inches, then perhaps go and watch Sue Campfield's YouTube video with this card, because she's done it all in inches. I've just converted it to centimeters for us in Australia. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my 2 pieces of white core paper, specialty paper, and I'm going to grab my cut emboss machine because I need the big one because I've got a 6x6 embossing folder, and I'll bring it over here. So for 3D embossing folders we need plate number 1 and plate number 4. That's what we need. So I'll get rid of my post-it note, and I shall get my exposed brick embossing folder out. If I can open it up. There we go. I'm just going to place them in here. Put them with the spine going first. Should always do that. You can get away with it now and then, not using the spine of the embossing folder first, but on a general day-to-day basis, you should always put the spine first. And that just stops your embossing folder sometimes. If you don't, sometimes it can crack the spine. So there are beautiful pieces of. So this colour's boho blue. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's azure afternoon. So we'll get that out. Haven't used this embossing folder with the white core paper, so it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. So I'll just move this back. Just going to have a sip of water. Okay, so before we do anything with the white core paper, you do need a little sanding block. Now Stampin' Up used to sell these, they don't anymore, but I imagine you could get one from a craft store, online, or even Spotlight. So we're just going to carefully rub over the brick folder. Now this is paper, it's not actually cardstock, so you do have to treat it a little bit more carefully and gently, because otherwise you will tear it. And you can see it's just taking off that top layer and exposing the white core underneath. So I'm just being quite gentle. So that's one piece. It just gives it a bit of a I don't know, grungy look. Does that make sense? And I'm going to do this one. And the parts of the embossing folder that are sticking up higher is what's coming off. And it just is a nice little technique, really. So I'm just very carefully, because I don't want to tear my paper. I'll go back. Might be able to do a bit more here. Sometimes I go back and I do more, and I shouldn't. I should have left well enough alone, but you know. Okay, I'm not doing any more. I'm going to put my little sanding block away, and I'm just going to get all this dust or fluff or whatever you want to call it. Just going to sweep that off and put that in my little bin. Okay, so I'll bring my card base in. So, and where's my sample card here? I'm going to put that there, and then you can sort of see it in the background. Get rid of that. I'll get my new pot of glue, and I'm just going to attach these layers down to our card base first. So we don't have we've only got one pack of paper that's kind of Christmassy, and that's the One Horse Open Sleigh. So I'm sort of trying to make use of other paper in my supplies to sort of do a few Christmassy sort of looking cards. I think it is actually too early for Christmas. But when you've got some Christmas supplies, it's nice to play. I'll go back to doing some normal cards next week, maybe. Maybe. I won't promise. So we've got bonus days running at the moment till the end of July. So any $90 order that you place, you will get a $9 voucher sent out to you in an email. So you've got to keep your emails handy for the voucher code. But yeah, that's really fun to know that you're going to get that. Okay, so you can see that's starting to look similar. Okay, so now we're going to get a little bit 7.6 by 5.7 centimeters, and I've scored it at 1.9 centimeters, 3.8 and 5.7. So I shall get I'm just going to fold that over in half and secure that down, and then I'm going to fold this one into the center score line, and then fold this one into the center score line. Okay, so they should just meet up. They shouldn't overlap, they should just meet up. if they overlap a little bit, just make them, you know, score them again where they're just meeting. Mine's sort of just touching. Okay. Now, when you do a fun fold, if you've got a mechanism that moves, it's always good to use tear and tape. It's a tape that we have, and it's the strongest form of adhesive that we have, that we sell, Stampin' Up sells, and a new roll is $14. So we're just going to put some tear and tape. I'm just going to snip that off. Here, and it tears. You don't have to use scissors. So closest to the cut edge, see, on our little mechanism. And then I'm going to get my take your pick tool to get these off. Okay, I'll bring my card base in. Now I'm going to turn it over, and you've got a score line here, and I'm going to match it up with the score line here, and I'm just going to eyeball it and center it between the top and the bottom. So match this score line up to the center score line in your card base, and push it down. So there you go, there's your little mechanism, and you can fold it back over. Where's my thing gone? Here. And give that a good push. And because you're on an embossing folder and it's a bit bumpy, it's a good idea to get your bone folder in and burnish it down really well, really well, so it sticks to the bumpy part of the embossing folder. Okay, so you can see the little center step that we've got here. Okay, I'll get that off my scissors, and I shall put this back on here. Okay, so we'll bring in our panels. So you can see with my sample card, I used a bigger deckled rectangle and then the two smaller ones. If I'd done that with the scalloped contour dies, I would have got too small, so I didn't want to do that. So I'm going to use the same size scalloped contour here, and then so that will get attached and sit flat and not go outside the boundaries. And then this one will sit here too, but it's going to cover it up because I've used the same size die, whereas this one I have a border, but that's okay, you can do whatever you like. And then this one will go on top, so it will look a little bit different. It won't have a white border showing here, but that's okay. So let's do a little bit of stamping before we put it onto our card base. We shall get Night of Navy. Here it is. I will need my tear and tape again in a minute. Okay, so I'm going to use the gingerbread house this time, and I've got a little one here. I might use that as a guide for colouring. So that's going to go on here, my gingerbread, because the angel doesn't quite fit, so I'm not doing the angel. And this one's got the bird already, so I thought I would put my gingerbread house there. And I thought I would stamp Oh What Fun above the house, and then on the inside panel I thought I would stamp "'Tis the season to be jolly." So let's do some of our stamping first, and bring in a paper piercing mat. When you're using photopolymer, it's a good idea to have a mouse pad or a paper piercing mat underneath you. You just get a better image from your stamps. So I'll bring that down a fraction and try not to bring my head in. There we go, that's that. So that's going to go there. Now let me just clean that stamp off and pop it away. And where's the "Oh what fun"? Well, that's as crooked as a dog's hind leg on my block. Oh, that's a saying my mum used to say. That's funny. Okay, so stamp, bring it down so I can see what I'm doing. Beautiful. Pop that away, and then I'm going to use my black memento to stamp my little gingerbread house. Okay. Beautiful. So now we're going to bring some blends in to just do a little bit of colouring. Pop that away. And pop that away. Okay, because this is going to go over the top like that. So let me bring in some blends. Now I don't have a lot of new blends of the new colours, so we're just going to have to go with crumb cake for the gingerbread house, I think. So we might use crumb cake down here. Now this is, oh, this is dark. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. So I'm not going to worry too much about blending. So I'm waiting. I've ordered the new colour and returning colour markers, Stampin' Write markers, but I haven't ordered the blends yet. Got to pace yourself. When I do a colour refresh, it seems to be a lot of bits and pieces to replenish your stock. So I've got the ink pads, and I've just ordered the markers. They're coming. They should arrive in the next day or so. But yeah, I haven't got the blends yet. Okay, so I'm going to put pecan pie or copper clay would probably be a nice colour for a gingerbread house. Okay, I think that's that. Now this is light crumb cake. That's dark crumb cake too. I must have two dark crumb cakes in my stash. That's okay. This one's light. Okay. So I'm just going to do that there. And down there. My daughter Olivia is so good at building gingerbread houses. She is the queen of gingerbread houses. She really is. And last year we went to a ladies' night at a church that a friend goes to, and Olivia just made this amazing gingerbread house. She's just so clever. It's a real, you know, building and construction design. Okay, so they're the candy canes at the front door. Oh, I might do little, she goes into the lolly aisle in the shop, in the supermarket, and I think she buys nearly the whole aisle, because, you know, you've got to have options when you're decorating, she told me. So, yeah, she's quite amazing. Okay, so let's, what's this? This is Melon Mumbo. Do we still have Mel? Yeah. Must have been Magenta Madness that got retired. Okay, so now these would, I reckon, this roof would be Freckles, the chocolate Freckles, because that's what she always does her roof with. So I'm just going to kind of make them, they're not spotty like the Freckles, but I'm kind of making them like those lollies. So just any which way. Maybe this one. So I'm just choosing any colour really. And Magenta Madness in the stained glass window here. No. Melon Mambo. See, I've even got it wrong. I think Daffodil Delight might be a good one. A dark Daffodil Delight. Do that one. And I'll do this stained glass window. And I might do the door. And what else can I do? Calypso Coral, I think. What's that look like? Yeah. Right. Calypso Coral up here. So it just takes a minute to colour these in, and I need one more colour for my lollies. Let's go with light fresh freesia. If we do the gingerbread house again this year, I'll put a photo. I think I might have put a photo up last year of the house that she completed. It was just amazing. And then she happily gets a hammer and smashes it to pieces on Christmas Day or Boxing Day or whenever we gather. It's really weird. I couldn't do that. But that's okay. Now, I'm just gone out of the line a little bit down here, so I'm just going to get my colour lifter and just try and erase that so that it's not blobby. Okay, so that's our little gingerbread house. And that's going to go here. So let's put our card together now. So we need to put this flat, and I need some more tear and tape, and I'm going to put it here. If you want, you can only use one piece if you want, but I'm going to put two on just to make sure it's secure. And I'm going to get my take your pick tool and pick both of them up, pull them off. Whoops. And I'm not going to butt it right up to here. I'm just going to leave a little tiny gap. So I just bring that down so my head doesn't go in. So I'm not going to put it right up because it might get a bit squished. So I'm just going to leave a little gap. And I think that will be good. Is it straight, we ask? It's a little bit crooked, which is not what I'm happy about. So I'm going to just see if I can squidge it over a bit. Not quite, but that's okay. Now this is where I've got to make sure I get this lined up. I will attach these two together first. So when you use your stamping blends, they are meant to bleed through to the back of your cardstock. That's quite normal. So you don't have to think, oh, that's not what should happen, but it is. There we go. Now, this is where I've got to line it up to meet with the other one. Okay. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3 bumps. 3 bumps is all we want. 3 scallops on this side. So tear and tape again, but we only need to go down. We don't need to go past 3 scallops. My son has had a lovely weekend down in the snow this weekend with some mates. So that's been really good for him. He's been going through a bit. So I'm really happy he's had that time out and had some fun down there. Okay. Okay, so there we go. There's a double-decker pop-up card. I have got it a little bit skew with, and I'm not happy about that, but it's just a sample. And there we go. That's a bit better, I think. Okay, I was going to put ribbon on. I forgot. Silly me. Okay, well, we've got some Winker Stella. We could put some Winker Stella on our little gingerbread house. On some of the lollies. Actually, on all of the lollies, on all the roof. I want it on all the roof. There we go. I think I'm needing a new Winker Stella. And I shall put, whoops, nearly threw that at myself. I shall put some festive pearls on it. Yes. And I might just put a little bow instead of a real tying ribbon around it. Now, I could do silver, I could do gold. I think blues tends to suit silver. So this is the gold and silver trim combo. It's also in the online store. $15.75. You get a spool of gold and a spool of silver. So that will be very good for Christmas time. Okay, let me see if I can do this without getting myself in fumble fingers. It's just a matter of we could put that there. Let's make it a little bit teenier. And I'll get my ribbon scissors to cut cute. This one's still a bit long. So I will put that on with a glue dot. Now, when you're using really skinny ribbon, it's a good idea just to fold your glue dot over a fraction so that you don't have sticky coming sort of all the way around everything. I folded it in half. So I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to get some of these out of the packet. Some silver ones, the festive ones. These are the festive gems. Now, should I do 3 just in a row, or should I put one down here? I think I'll put one down here. There we go. Trying to get that back into its little... I like to keep them in the little plastic bags because otherwise they can fall off and get all mixed up with other things. That just protects them, I think. So there we go. There is a double-decker pop-up card. What do you think of that? So that's using the gingerbread house, and then it pops up, and that's your mechanism inside. And this one was using the bird out of this stamp set. And mechanism inside. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's a really cool fun fold. I love doing fun folds, as you know. I can't help myself. God, which way do I go? Okay. It's all back to front when you come back here. So that is my double-decker pop-up card. Originally designed by Sue Campfield in the States. So I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great week, everyone. I'm very excited. My co-worker is back from her holiday, so I don't have to do everything. I can just do my job now, which will be great. So have a great weekend, and I shall see you on Friday for Card and a Cuppa. Bye for now.